Recently, I have joined with a team of believers who has a desire to help people who are suffering with pain in their bodies and other illnesses. I like to share with you at this time some testimonies from real people, and perhaps we may be able to help you in the areas of where you are in pain and other illnesses that you may have. Please take a look, and if it can help, feel free to get in touch with me.
Hey, Dr. Staci here. I am so excited to be joined again by my beautiful co-host, SPD Laura Balzer. Thank you for being here again, Laura.
Is this 4
weeks Absolutely. In a row? Is this 4 weeks in a row for us?
Yeah.
I think it is, because the guys had to come back 2 weeks in a row. Yes. Well, thank you for joining me on this very special Zoom right before we fly off into the distance across the pond for Lifewave's 20-year anniversary cruise. I'm so excited for that. And I know you are as well, too. So, you guys, this evening, Laura has a couple people that she just had to have on here to share their personal experience and testimonial with you. And I, of course, agreed. I thought that was fantastic because I think you guys are loving hearing these testimonials, which is, of course, when I have different doctors and practitioners on here, they're sharing as well, too. But I think I like hearing from some other people and what their experience is. So before we get started tonight, before I turn it over to Laura, I want you to know that I am not a medical doctor. I have a PhD in integrative medicine, a PhD in functional medicine, but I am not an allopathic medicine doctor and not your doctor in any way at all. If you have questions regarding your health, if you have any questions regarding your medications, if you're pregnant or nursing or have children, please see your doctor, your healthcare practitioner, the person that's in charge of you and your health care. So just so you know, the information we're sharing tonight is for informational purposes only. It's not intended to treat, cure, prevent, or diagnose any disease, syndrome, or anything like that. We will be sharing people's testimonials, and of course, I'll be sharing the science and tech a little later, answering questions, but those questions will be in regards to the information in Lifewave studies, which reference organs and systems and cells in the body. Keep in mind that your body does not recognize a disease that comes from your allopathic medicine doctor. So those diseases don't register on the inside. It's organs out of function, systems out of correct function. We want to get these things functioning correctly, and Lifewave's technology is going to do that. And you're going to hear from these amazing people this evening how it's helped them. So Laura, I'm going to turn it over to you. And you let me know who you're going to interview first. I'll pin them up here to the top, and you can take it away, girl.
Well, it's Miss Deborah Dutton. She's already unmuted. She's ready to go.
Perfect. Let's have her say something so I can get her up here pinned with you.
Deb, say hello to everybody.
Hello, Dr. Staci.
And there she is.
Hi.
There she is. There she is. Okay. So everybody, welcome again. Like Dr. Staci said, we have been doing this and we've been having an absolute blast. I am very excited about our two guests tonight. And Deb, I'm really excited. You're on here. We got your camera working. We're up and running. It's a beautiful day, right?
Absolutely, yes.
You know, we talked a little bit earlier, more about Zoom than we did actually about, you have an incredible testimony. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself. And I always say, let's have a snapshot into life prior to being introduced to the patch. And then how's that journey been and where are you today?
Well, my life was pretty busy. I'm a busy grandma and mom, and I'm an interior designer and an author and an artist. And so my dream was really to be able to speak about my books, but I had a condition called trigeminal neuralgia. And it really plagued me with a lot of pain, and mainly nerve pain in my face. And if you're familiar with that condition, it is nicknamed the suicide disease. It's very, very painful. I was on a couple seizure meds and just really had a very dramatic life situation. I had a bilateral brain bleed and had to go into an emergency surgery and be in ICU. And so they literally, cut on both sides of my head. So in recovery for this, it really aggravated the pain, and I was really suffering. And this very sweet lady named Gwen, she had sent me information because she's in my husband's volunteer group at church, and he was always asking prayer for me. And so she had sent me some information. And a little bit of my background was that my mom and dad had a health food store when I was 12. I had taken all kinds of vitamins and herbs and drank this and that. And then I married a guy that's into wellness, and that's his profession. And so through the years, I thought I had seen everything, tried everything. So when Gwen came to my front porch with this new technology that was really foreign to me, and I really couldn't even grasp the concept of it, I was in severe pain. And it was hard for me to eat. I couldn't speak. She put the ice wave on me, and immediately I was able to talk for a couple of hours and eat dinner with no pain. So that was very shocking to me. I didn't really understand them, but I thought, I'll give this a go. So started patching, and then literally 5 weeks from the first brain surgery, I had another brain surgery. And this one was to alleviate the nerve, the trigeminal nerve. It worked for a couple of months, and then I was back on my anti-seizure meds. So I actually spoke with you briefly because it seemed like, the energy from the patches, if they were close to the nerve, would kind of aggravate it a little bit. And so my suggestion was to put it below my belly button, and that really worked very well. So my journey just started from there. And after the second surgery, every step I took, there would be a jar of pain in my back. And so the first thing I noticed, because when I had that second surgery, I kind of set the patches aside, and I picked them up again. And every day that pain alleviated until like day 3. So I knew something was happening. So I really dedicated myself, to doing the 12 hours on, 12 hours off, drinking my water. And the most unusual, unexpected thing happened. When I was young, I was hit by a jet ski. My little brother was goofing around. And so I had these really gnarly veins on the back of my leg. And as I had aged, they had become very unsightly. So one day I woke up and they were puffy and red and almost like I had a fever and hurt. And I actually called the doctor and made an appointment. I thought something is very wrong here. And then all of a sudden, these veins just started healing. Like this beautiful kind of pink skin came, and I took pictures, but it's really, it just blew my mind that my body could take this technology and heal something that wasn't even on a list, something that I really desperately needed done. But in the meantime, I was able to get off of both of my seizure meds. I have maybe little rubber band pings today. I'm talking to you. I can eat. I'm enjoying my grandkids. I don't feel like I'm underwater on all of that medication. And Sunday evening, we have a grandson that's graduating this year, and he painted his little parking, how they paint their little parking area. And so Papa and I went out there, and I thought, well, how long will my back hold up? Because I also had 6 months ago, a doctor tell me that I had degenerative bone in the bottom of my spine in one hip. She said, don't be riding a bicycle, don't have a fall because your bones are very fragile. And so I always would have back pain if I did anything strenuous. So we worked for 2 hours. I mean, I'm putting stars on, painting stripes, and I kept thinking, well, how long is my back going to hold up? Because that's just a normal way that you process, when your body has these different, limitations. And so we worked till 10 o'clock. And even the next day, my daughter sent us a sweet little thank you. Hope your back is feeling okay. And I said, well, that's the thing. I'm not that sore, And so I've only really been using this technology. I'm in my 5th month, and I can't wait to see what my body does with it and how it reacts to to this, new energy that I'm putting in my body. And I am so excited to share it with others and be a part of this community. And everyone has just been so helpful. I don't have, I don't have the health I ultimately would like to have yet, but I am so excited just to see the things that are happening, especially with my nervous system being the way it was. And I had that condition for 14 years. So it's just amazing to me that something so small that can just generate such an amazing response to our bodies, and how wonderfully our bodies are made, and that it can respond like that and invoke healing. So I'm very very grateful to be on here and share what has happened for me.
So that, wow. And, I remember that day that we spoke on the phone and you were asking me about, can we move that patch? And from that day till now, there is a massive difference in you. Yeah. I mean, the smile on your face, the lightness in your eyes, your complexion, just your manner about you is totally different. And really, I want everyone to hear that it's only been 5 months. And I know Dr. Staci is going to touch on that and speak about that a little bit. So we won't do that now, but that's pretty phenomenal with having what you had for 14 years.
And if you remember that day, I was very brief in my question. We didn't stay on the phone very long because I was in so much pain. I couldn't utilize your time in talking to you because literally speaking was so painful. And so that's why, yeah.
When you were talking, your speech is totally different from there till today. So I love asking this question because it's very obvious that you and your husband are very close. And something like this affects everybody, right? Mm-hmm. What's your husband think? How's he feeling? Like, what's changed about him now that you are in this much better state? Because that's a big deal.
You really can't even know what your spouse goes through when he hears his wife downstairs screaming, when he can't even come into the room because you are in so much pain, you can't even have them present in the room. And I know he is so grateful, and I hate to get emotional, but when you've gone through something that was just, literally there were times you think I can't keep going on. I cannot I can't live like this. And it robs you. It robs you of your work. I love my interior design work. I love, talking to women and speaking at different groups. I love my grandkids. And it just would limit my time with them and then you feel like you're underwater when you're on those kind of medications. And I feel for anybody that has to take any kind of anti-seizure meds because you feel very unmotivated about life. You're like just existing. Every morning is about how to manage this pain so that I can function, at least at a minimum, so I can just at least be present. So I am forever grateful.
Wow. Well, we're very grateful as well because you are an amazing, amazing woman. One last question, if I may. People are blowing up the chat. They've got a lot. They're just loving you, and they are sending you much love and light, and they think you're an amazing, amazing, strong woman. They want to know what patches you're using.
Well, I started out, of course, the X39 and the Eon, and I added the glutathione just because I felt like, I had done all of these medications. I have now kind of set the glutathione aside for a little bit, and I have added the X49. I do the energy patches. I tend to feel like they are really doing something for my nervous system. Now, I wear them on my wrist, and then I do the X49, X39, and that's kind of my daytime go-to. And then at night I do the Eon, and of course I love the Alavita, you know. But right now those are pretty much the patches that I'm working with right now, because it just seems to, and again, I encourage everybody to talk to different people. I've also conferenced with Cindy and Johnson, and she was very helpful with some ideas, because I think we all are different and we have different needs, you know, where the energy needs to be placed or what we need. So I think, you know, just learning, and you can just feel what your body really responds to.
Yeah, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, Deb, we have almost 500 people on here, and I know regardless of who they are, where they're from, or what they do, you have touched them tonight, and we are very, very grateful for you. It has been only 5 months, so you know you have to come back, right? And give us an
absolutely.
update.
I'll be glad to. Yes. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
Okay. Wow. Woo, Dr. Staci. Okay. Does everybody shift around in their chair a little bit, because we have another one for you. I'm excited as well to have Alicia Waters come on. Alicia, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. So if you'll speak so we can pop you up on the screen and say hello to everybody.
Hey, you guys. I'm excited to be here.
There's you. Well, we're excited to have you. You know, people on here probably have heard, you know, your story and your testimony. I think the beautiful thing about Tuesday nights is that people really have time to share a little bit more, and as well as give Dr. Staci that ability to do that as well. So, Alicia, you have the floor. Give us that snapshot. Let us know what's going on.
I think I would like you guys to start this, because
Oh, wow.
my journey starts with you two. And I think that this is such, we're like the little trifecta right here of divine appointments. And so you guys start my story for me.
All right, so Dr. Staci, why don't you start by talking about when you met Alicia, you started speaking to her about regenerative cells.
Yeah, so when I was introduced to Alicia, it was at the top of the Don Cesar in St. Pete. We were at a Dash to the Destination trip. What was that, 10 years ago, 8 years ago-ish?
10 years ago, September.
10 years ago, September. We were at a Roaring 20s party that weekend, and we were introduced by a mutual friend, and this friend wanted me to talk to Alicia because of a recent diagnosis she had just received and the things that I had been doing over the years with my daughter to help her in her healing journey. I had been using a lot of tools, a lot of different modalities, but the main focus at that time that we were seeing great success with was we were actually traveling to Mexico and getting stem cell injections for my daughter. And these were $25,000 a pop. And we were grateful at where we were in the company we were that we were able to provide that for her. But that was, you know, a very expensive procedures that we were doing. But I knew the power of stem cells. I had banked both of my kids' cord blood before I had them. We had done months of hyperbaric oxygen chamber therapy, which push out more stem cells from the bone marrow. We had done laser directed stem cell, technologies from Germany and all kinds of stuff. So for me, like, I knew stem cells were the holy grail of healing. And when I heard someone had a diagnosis, I'm like, oh, hi, new friend. Great. Let's go to Mexico and get stem cells. And she probably wanted to jump right off the top of that balcony. So I'll let her share her side of it.
Not totally.
That was my first introduction to Alicia. And of course, we got to know each other over the years, and I'll let her share that part. But for me, and finding out about Livewave was immediately when I found out about this patch being non-transdermal. It activated my own without an injection, without a needle, with nothing entering my body, and definitely without not a $25,000 price tag. I was 100% all in, gung-ho day one. Immediately went to my good friend Laura Balzer, who I'd also known for, at that time, maybe 12 years or so. And I said, hey, you cured yourself of breast cancer years ago, going holistic IV, vitamin therapy, detox, nutrition. girl, the inventor of this technology is coming here to Sarasota, Florida in a couple days, and you're going with me because this is like the latest, greatest. Everyone on the planet has to hear about what this technology does, and it's going to be right up your alley for detoxing and boosting the immune system and keeping us young and youthful and healthy forever. And so Laura goes with me, doot, doot, doot. And I slapped a patch on her shoulder, and 20 minutes later, she didn't have pain and had movement. Slapped a patch on her hubby, and that night he had the best sleep he'd had in years, and off to the races we went, sharing with anyone and everyone. So there, interject, Laura, go.
Wow. And so, people, right? And you want to help people. And so the first person I thought of, and with Staci and I together, was Alicia. And y'all, I did not know much. I only knew what I'd heard that day, and I was absolutely blown away. I knew that I wanted to get this on my body immediately for my own personal health, prevention, and longevity, and all that comes with it. But I knew people that could really use this. And my first person was Alicia. And I called her up and I said, Alicia, I don't know much, girl, but this is what I heard. And I really think you need this. Now, I love telling this because the woman says yes to nothing. Okay. She really says yes to nothing. She's very guarded.
I'd say yes to Chris.
Well, you did say yes to Chris. Yes, you did. But you know what? She said yes. And to be honest with you, the power behind her yes goes a lot deeper, especially for Dr. Staci and I, because when we walked in that room to listen to David, the whole day became very divine, a very divine appointment for us to be there. And then to pass it knowledge on to Alicia and to have her say yes and then get started on this technology. For me, I can't imagine had I not called her. So with that said, because I'm getting chills, I'm going to turn it over to you so you can continue the story.
Yes. So I love that. And, truly divine appointments, God put us in each other's lives over 10 years ago. And knowing the paths and the ups and downs that we're going to take, and here we are together tonight. And so, yes, in 2014, I was diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Total shock to myself and to our whole family. And you guys, when you are facing a diagnosis like that, and especially in your 40s, and when you feel like your whole life is in a great place, a lot of people just go numb. I mean, and it's really hard to hear those words. And I understand now what I call white coat blinders. We go to a doctor, we get a terrible diagnosis, we're scared, we're numb, we don't know what to do, and we just put on these blinders and we look at the guy or the girl in the white coat, and whatever they say, we just do it. And we nod our heads and we just do it. But for me, there was something that started in my heart that I just went, I can't. I just can't. Because I was immediately upon diagnosis told on a Thursday, you guys, that on the next following Tuesday, they were going to put a port in my chest, in my vein, and start administering poison inside of my body. And that just did not sit well in my soul. So I told the oncologist, I said, okay, you guys, I'm going to go to the beach. And if I still have this terrible disease when I get back from the beach and we need to do this treatment, then we'll just do it. And he said, okay, well, when will you be back from the beach? Well, I was diagnosed in June of 2014. And I said, it'll be September. They were just like, what? September? And I went, yes, I need this time. So I spent the summer researching everything holistic, anything that I could get my hands on, or anything anyone could share with me that would give me a hope outside of a chemotherapy treatment, and to give me hope that I wasn't going to die. I mean, literally, you guys, my diagnosis, I should not be here today. It really was like a 5 to 8 year max is what I was looking at. So fast forward, yes, I met this beautiful blonde lady and her little girl on the balcony of the Dom, and she told me about this stem cell therapy. And it was the first thing that made sense in my brain. Because, guys, when you get diagnosed with something like this, everybody wants to help, and that's okay. That's our nature. We want to help other people. And there was the hyperbaric chambers. There was going to Germany and doing this. There was injections. There's coffee enemas in Mexico. There was literally people that wanted to send me mushrooms that turkeys had defecated on. Like literally the oils on your belly, the whole nine thing. I just kind of looked at it all. But what Dr. Staci was sharing with me was the first thing that made sense. So I checked it out. And guys, for me and what I needed, it was going to be $100,000 to get that stem cell therapy in Mexico. And I didn't have it. I couldn't do it. So I went back home. Another CT later. This was my third one in that 6-month period of time. They proceeded and decided to do a type of chemotherapy for what I was dealing with the lymphoma. And I couldn't even make it. It was so strong. It literally would put me to sleep. They would have to come in and check on me to make sure that I was still breathing, and then medicate me to wake me up to get me going, because it would just put me into a coma-like state. And halfway through the treatment, they decided to pull me out of it because it was just far too strong and I couldn't do it. And he said to me at that time, Alicia, what happens now is we just watch and wait. And you're in my office every 3 months for the rest of the time that we have you here for a CT and blood work. And that's where I was, CT and blood work, CT and blood work, until that morning when Laura messaged me and said, we need to talk. Staci and I met this guy named David last night, and we found the Holy Grail of healing, like Dr. Staci said. So I talked to them that day on the phone. Laura and I devised a plan of what I was going to use. And I started with our X39 patch and the supplement patch Eon, spelled AEON, the anti-inflammatory, because that is a situation dealing with lymphoma. You're dealing with a lot of inflammation, and your body's fighting. And when you're fighting, it kind of puffs up. And so we're going to cue the picture here in just a second, Staci. So I just used these two products to start with, X39 and Eon, side by side. I called it twinning on the back of my neck here at the C7 every day. Now, I got it for that diagnosis, but in the first 3 nights, I slept through the night like a champion with crazy, awesome dreams for the first time in years. 3 years. I had been drinking the teas, buying the pillows and the sheets and the sound machines, trying to get some sleep, you guys, and nothing worked until I put 2 stickers on the back of my neck. And I went, are they making me tired? What's happening? This is working. I don't get it. So 3 nights slept through the night. In about 3 weeks, lower debilitating back pain that I had been seeing a chiropractor for 18 months, I woke up and it was gone. And I'm not talking just it felt better. It was diminished, gone, and never to return. And I had been seeing a chiropractor for months, paying thousands of dollars for chiropractic care, and it's gone. Like, I had to call Laura. Okay, Laura, I know I got these patches for my, situation, but I'm sleeping through the night and having amazing dreams. So I know I'm sleeping deep and sleeping well, and my back doesn't hurt anymore. Could possibly these patches be doing that? And she said, girl, the body's capable of amazing things. There is no telling what's going on. Just keep patching. Just keep putting it on your body. So kept putting it on my body. And like I said, every 3 months, I already had a pre-scheduled, pre-arranged CT and blood work. So at 43 days of patching, I had a scheduled CT and blood work. And I know these dates because I know when I started patching, and I know when my doctor's appointment was. I can pull it up on my chart right now online and see the report. But anyway, I went in, had my CT, had my blood work, did my follow-up with my oncologist 3 days later, and he just threw his hands back on his table and he said, Alicia, I don't know what you're doing. I don't want to know what you're doing, but you better keep doing it, because these are the best results that you've had since you've been diagnosed. Wow. The best results. And he said, they look so good. I don't need to see you for a year. And I went, wait, what? a year. And I had been seeing this man every 3 months for years. And he just gave me a year clear because I'd been putting 2 stickers on the back of my neck every day. Now, 6 months later, a girlfriend of mine asked me, have you lost weight? And I was like, I wish I'd lost weight. No, I haven't lost a pound. And she said, well, what are you doing? Because you look different. And I went, what? I don't understand. And she went, you look amazing. And I was like, oh, thank you. That's so sweet. And then we started talking about it. And Laura even said to me, you need to do a before and after photo. So the photo that Staci's got,
Right
she's
here.
going to share. This was, yeah. Okay. So we can look at that.
Unbelievable.
You can see when I started patching May of 2021, because I started right after Memorial Day. And so that's a Memorial Day picture right there. And then that's a Christmas picture right there in the center. So 6 months of just X39 and Eon. And then I just celebrated 3 years of patching, and you can see that's me right there. So the amount of inflammation in my body completely, I mean, just, I tell people to look at the eyes. And if you haven't done a before and after of yourself after patching 6 to 12 months, do it and look at your eyes. I mean, it is so telling. But I think, looking at this, non-biased, the hair, the skin, everything's different and completely. And I mean, you're seeing me live right here, right now, and you can see what I look like today. So it is, it's just fantastic what is happening. And, if all of that good stuff is going on and you can see it visibly on the outside, imagine what is happening on the inside. And I know that it's good stuff because I'm getting my blood work and my CTs. Now, back to the story. So I went for my 1 year. And he did the CT and the blood work again after 1 year. And he said, at a time that you should be getting worse, you're getting better. And I don't understand. And I was like, I do, I do. It's something about just waking up and taking care of yourself every day. And another thing, I had another guy ask me just this week. He said, well, did you not try this? And did you not try this? And did you not do this and this and this? And I said, no, I only used the patches because I wanted to know if they were what was working. I only used the patches. I could have combined it with a lot of different other things, but during that first 6 months, and then since then, I've only used the patches because I know that they're working, and I didn't want to have to question what is working and what is not. I just used the patches. So I got another year clear in 2022, and then in 2023, I went in and got a 2-year clear, and lo and behold, when I got back home and I was paying my bill and I got online to my chart, they had downgraded me from stage 4 to stage 3. And he didn't tell me that verbally in the office, but it was on my chart. And guys, like I just said, the only thing I have done is put these patches on my body every day. And it just keeps getting better and better. And I get real excited about sharing this story. Now, I know that not everybody gets these crazy, amazing results. And there's been other things like my dental reports are better. My scans for my mammograms have improved. They've told me my breast tissue looks like a 30-year-old breast tissue. And I'm 53 years old, by my calendar. So that's pretty important. As well, I like having 30-year-old breast tissue. But that's pretty cool. So I don't know. What was there anything else? You guys have just heard me tell the story so much. I just love sharing.
Well, Alicia, there's a lot of guests on here tonight that haven't heard your story, and I'm sure every time I hear the story, and I've known you for over 15 years now, I get chills, and it's such a blessing, and it is divine. And I feel like divine appointment can happen years prior to you even knowing it, And so, a couple things. Raven on here said you look younger now than you did when it started. We all do. I mean, come on. We really all do. I mean, those of us, and again, Staci's going to talk about it, that have patched consistently, these are some of the result that is unexpected, right? You did not start this to have beautiful skin and your eyes clearer, and that wasn't where your head was. And
No.
I think that's one of the things that people really start to notice, like you did with your back and the sleeping, and now you're engaged to be married, and girl, you just have this whole new lease on life.
I know. I'm a grandma. I'm getting married. Like, none of that would have been possible without these patches, because I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I love it.
People, I see questions wearing the X39 and Eon at night. No, I wore both during the day. I will tell you, after about 6 months and learning the power of glutathione, I did start adding in glutathione. And I did wear the glutathione at night in the beginning, but I do wear the glutathione during the day now, and Alavita at night. So, and then I put some energy patches on the bottom of my feet when I need that extra go-go. So I do that as well. And I did have contrast most times during scans. And we know how horrible that is, but it's the only way to get a diagnosis sometimes. So answering that question in the chat as well.
So Alicia, I mean, for you and for anybody that comes on with us, you have to come back, because, you know, we're just going to walk down this path of getting you down to, you're going to come on here and go, you know what? I am totally healed and clear. And I cannot wait for that day, because
so the people that understand will understand. So I have been told by multiple doctors that remission is never possible for me. That is not a word that I ever get to say. Okay. And I've struggled with that mentally, because that's a problem. But I have learned a new term in that community, and it's called NED. And NED is my new goal, and that is no evidence of disease. And that's even better than remission. Yes, so that's the new goal, and I can and will be NED. So that's the goal, and that's the term. So you will definitely hear me giving you updates throughout the time. And, you know, maybe it takes another 3 years to achieve that goal, but I don't think it would have been possible otherwise without positivity, prayer, and patching. And that's the place that we want to be.
I love that. Well, we love you, and this is fabulous. And thank you for jumping on here again and sharing. The numbers on the screen just keep on growing, but we're grateful. Yeah. We love you. Thank you to you too as well, Deb. Again, you have made our night absolutely amazing. But now for our guest, it's time for Dr. Staci to come up on the screen and share a little bit more about how this technology works and why people are getting the result that these beautiful ladies spoke about tonight.
Wow. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Alicia. OMG. Right? Lots of O's before these ladies' testimonials. So let's start off again by reminding all of you that the information we're sharing here is not intended to treat or cure or diagnose anything that's going on with you. I know you're all thinking, what about this? What about me? What about this? What about A to Z, right? The patches work for A to Z if you patch. Consistency is the key. You heard Alicia say that, right? Deb, 5 months into patching. Oh my gosh, she has a completely different life. Alicia had a completely different outlook on life 43 days into patching. But have either of them stopped patching? No, they're consistently patching because results come over time. They compound. I cannot wait to hear where Deb is in 3 years from now. I mean, it's just mind-blowing. And you guys, we hear testimonials like this every day. We hear people sharing stuff like this every single day, and it never gets old. It's why Laura and I sat there that first day in that room with David with tears streaming down our face and cold chills all through our body going, we have to tell everyone we know about this as fast as we can and get them on these Zooms so they can hear from people and what's happening and how this technology works. Because, man, there are a lot of people out there suffering.